Hello YouTube, it's me, Brody Nathaniel Diorsa McLeod, once again talking at my phone with a ring light from a room in a psychiatric ward where I've now been for about a year. It's occurred to me today, it was about this time in 2024 that I ended up in the Bristol Royal Infirmary. I believe I was resuscitated. I don't know actually, like no one's kind of gives me the lowdown on who kind of found me and what the kind of circumstances were, whether I would receive CPR or how long the ambulance took to arrive or what happened in the ambulance. I've got stuff on my NHS app that sort of says the way things went. Got a ridiculous mark from wearing my cap all day. Maybe I'll put it back on and cover up my baldness. I don't know what happened. I was in a coma for several days and I came out of a coma and my brother was there by my side and I had a tube in my penis and one going straight into my lungs, down my throat and up my nose, and shunt in the back of my hand, and I was absolutely shitting myself. It took me about 25 minutes to unlock my phone. My brain just wasn't working properly because I'd been in an induced coma and it was like I was really disorientated. Spent a little bit of time at the hospital there, went to hospital in Warrington for most of the month of July, and then came to Cygnet Qstoke at the beginning of August. And I've had some serious low points on the way over the last leading up to Christmas 2024. I've had quite a couple of very self-destructive episodes, and I don't know what the future's going to look like. I don't know. I'm now homeless. I haven't got a home to go back to. Section 117 aftercare is a package of care that makes sure you don't relapse when you go back into the community. Part of that package of care is housing. So I'm not going to be turfed out of the hospital without anywhere to live, I don't think. But being able to live and survive, hold my head up high and be proud of myself without some sort of self-deprecating, self-destructive demons getting the better of me. And, it's like trying to live with good conscience or a clear conscience, about everything taken into account kind of holistically and collectively is really challenging. And it's like I've just been chatting with somebody, and I can count on the fingers of my hand the amount of people that have reached out since I've been hospitalised. A couple of people have stayed in touch, and I've made a few friends on the ward. I've made no secret about that. There's a couple of people, especially in 2024, that I got quite close with, and I learned to respect and value their opinions and their own trauma, and try to empathise and sympathise with them. And I think in a way we found a pathway to mutual understanding and reciprocity, reconciliation. Even though we've got a lot of differences, I think we've got more in common than we have indifference, as whoever it was, Maya Angelou, eventually said. So my Gemini today is just about mental health and mental hospital and my recovery. Let's have that. I said it's been a year since I was detained under section of the Mental Health Act. I've been so self-destructive, it's almost cost me my life on 2 occasions. I'm still in a rehab ward and don't know when I'm getting out. How should I be feeling, and what kind of mental attitude should I engage to keep focused and allay the stress, anxiety and general depression going forward? Gemini told me very compassionately, it sounds like you've been through an incredibly difficult and challenging year, and it's completely understandable that you're experiencing a range of intense emotions. Sorry, somebody just knocked at my door. So anyway, where was I? It's completely understandable that you're experiencing a range of intense emotions, including stress, anxiety and depression. There's no should when it comes to how you feel. Your feelings are valid and natural response to what you've endured. Here's a breakdown of what you might be feeling, and then some strategies for cultivating a mental attitude to help you cope and move forward. How you might be feeling: grief and loss. You might be grieving the loss of your previous life, your freedom, and perhaps even a sense of self you once had. Anger and frustration. It's common to feel angry about the circumstances that led to your detention, the limitations you're currently experiencing, and the slow pace of progress. Fear and uncertainty, not knowing when you'll be discharged, is a significant source of anxiety. You might fear what the future holds, whether you'll relapse or how you'll reintegrate into society. Sadness and depression. A lot of that, the weight of your experiences, the feeling of being stuck and the impact on your life can certainly lead to deep sadness and depression. Guilt or shame, definitely a lot of that. You might be grappling with guilt about past self-destructive behaviours or shame related to your mental health struggles. Exhaustion, dealing with mental health challenges, being in a rehab ward is incredibly draining, both emotionally and physically. Hope, even if fate, despite everything, there might be moments or glimmers of hope for a better future. Yeah, definitely. And it's important to acknowledge and nurture these. Mental attitude to engage for going forward. Given your situation, adopting certain mental attitudes can be incredibly helpful in managing your current challenges and fostering your recovery. This isn't about ignoring your pain, but rather building resilience and finding a path forward. Radical acceptance, what it is. This involves accepting your current reality exactly as it is, without judgment or resistance. It doesn't mean you like it or condone it, but you acknowledge it as a fact. How to apply it. I'm currently in a rehab ward. I've been through a tough year. This is my present situation. Accepting this can reduce the energy spent fighting against what is, freeing up mental space for coping and healing. Focus on the present moment. Mindfulness, what it is, bringing your attention to the here and now, observing your thoughts, feelings and surroundings without judgment. How to apply, engage your senses, notice what you see, hear, smell, taste and feel in your immediate environment. Breathing exercises, when anxiety or stress arises, focusing on your breath, inhale slowly, hold for a moment, exhale slowly, yeah, all of that jazz. Ward activities, I engage in those. Self-compassion, what does it say? Treating myself with the same kindness, understanding and care you would offer to a good friend who's suffering. That's a good way to look at it. How to apply, acknowledge your suffering. This is really hard right now, it certainly is. Recognise common humanity, remind yourself that many people struggle with mental health. You're not alone in your suffering. Offer comfort, speak to yourself kindly. It's okay to feel this way, you're doing your best. Adopt a growth mindset. And what that is apparently is believing my abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work rather than being fixed. In this context, it means viewing your recovery as a process of growth and learning. How to apply, see setbacks as learning opportunities. If you have a difficult day, try to identify what triggered it and what you can learn from it. Focus on small victories. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how minor. Did you attend a group session? Did you manage a difficult emotion without resorting to old patterns? That is progress. Believe in your capacity for change. Remind yourself that you can develop new coping skills and that your brain can heal. Practice gratitude, even for small things. Consciously focusing on and appreciating the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they seem. Daily gratitude practice. Each day, try to list 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. This could be a warm bed, a kind word from a staff member, a good meal and a moment of peace. So what have I got to be grateful for? The guy who just knocked on my door wants to play a game of Monopoly with me. I'm grateful for that. I've got a vape from the internet, a Hi80 Pro Ultra 25,000 puffer. I'm really glad for that. I went out on leave today. I went and had a bag of real McCoy's crisps and an energy drink on the bench in the park surrounded by families. It was really nice. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. I used a little sleeping mask thing to cover my face last night and help me get some sleep without having to take benzos during the night when I wake up with my insomnia, which I've had for about 7 months. I'm appreciative for that. And I've got a phone that I can make this video on and hopefully engage some people. So yeah, I guess there's 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for today. When you find yourself dwelling on negatives, try to find a small positive counterpoint. I'll try. Maintain hope and set realistic goals. What it is, while accepting your current reality, also hold on to the belief that things can improve. Focus on discharge criteria. Work with your care team to understand what needs to happen for you to be discharged. This can give you a concrete path to work towards. Set small, achievable goals. Instead of focusing on getting out, focus on daily goals like participate in group today, practice a coping skill for 15 minutes, or connect with one person. Visualize your future. Spend some time each day imagining what a healthy and more fulfilling life looks like for you. Engage in purposeful activities. What it is, finding activities within the rehab ward that give you a sense of purpose, meaning, or enjoyment. Participate actively in therapy, rediscover hobbies, and help others. Seek support and advocate for yourself. What it is, actively, how to apply. Do you know what? Yeah, it says at the end, it's a long road and there'll be good days and bad days. The key is to keep engaging with your treatment, practicing these attitudes and being patient and kind with yourself throughout the process. Your resilience in surviving 2 near-death experiences shows immense strength. Hold on to that strength as you continue on your path to recovery. It's really easy for people to kind of bring this, if you feel worried, get a wet flannel and put it on your head and breathe in for 4 and out for 7 and hopefully you'll feel better. It's sometimes there's just no solution to problems. Like, you know, it doesn't matter with mental illness and mental health recovery. There isn't really a kind of like a metric for stuff that actually works, that's guaranteed to work, that's going to stop you feeling that crippling fear and having those, you know, feelings of ineffable anxiety. And you know, it's a year of my life I'll never get back. It's been one of the, you know, the most fortunate years of my life. I am incredibly lucky to be alive, and I'm incredibly grateful that I'm alive. And I hope nobody else tries to kill me, and I hope that nobody else comes to any harm themselves either, you know. And I hope that I get better, and I hope that everything works out for the best in the end. But it's fucking really difficult being in psychiatric hospital for a year, and I am grateful for all the other service users who, you know who you are if you're watching this. You know, I don't judge you, I don't blame you, I don't have anything but respect for you. And you know, if you could read my thoughts, you'd know I was telling the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I think of you all. You know, whether people that I've parted ways with or disconnected with, you know, I enjoyed the time that we spent together. And you know, people have tried to act in my best interest. They've tried to help me, you know, even though I've been a fucked up negative ball of fucking contradictions and fucking arrogance. Like, people have still seen through that to my good qualities, you know, and you know, reflected those back to me, and I'll always be grateful for that. And I just wish everyone all the best, and I hope that everybody can find a path to recovery that doesn't rely on happy clappy psychological spiritualist advice from the false prophet of Gemini. And I just want to say thanks to the very few people who have reached out and said hello to me, because that makes a huge difference. I chipped my tooth the other day. You see that? I got my brother a wooden watch. We were trying to put the pin into the wooden watch, and I was trying to bite the pin out of the watch strap, and I fucking chipped my tooth. Yeah, but yeah, I've just had one removed as well. That's healing up nicely, and I am so lucky to have been able to spend my birthday with my brother. And even though all we did is bimble around Bristol, you know, get some sushi and a plain t-shirt, and you know, went to a really nice swanky restaurant for breakfast, I was just so lucky, and I am so lucky, and I'm so grateful to everybody. So thank you, God bless, and all the best for everything.